Cages Lake. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. That's a boat, just so you know. But I feel like I have to keep that in the recording now. I hope you're having a great Wednesday, and just wanted to say hi. And right now we are up in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Got away for a couple of days. That's Sturgeon Bay behind me. So it's actually really cool. Still frozen in places, but we decided to come up here for a couple of days for spring break. And anyway, I just wanted to share a quick thought with you from the Word of God as we're headed closer to Passion Week. And I'm not sure if you're familiar that the book of John is, of course, it's the story of it's the Gospel of John. And what's interesting is John has 21 chapters, and starting in chapter 12, going all the way through 21, is the final week of Jesus's ministry, death, resurrection. John spends half of his book writing about that last week, that final moments, because obviously that's the key. That's he's writing it from the perspective of Jesus as the Son of God, and his purpose, he says in John 21, is that we might believe that he's the Son of God. So he spends a lot of detail in those final days, and so as we are looking for understanding, as we are thinking of what we have, what we celebrate over the next week or so, that's something that's so important to remember, that's why he came. But the chapter before that, chapter 11, talks about how it's the story of Lazarus and Mary and Martha, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. And Jesus finds out that Lazarus is ill. And in chapter 11, I think it's verse 4 or 5, he talks about how he decided to wait 2 days before he left. Then when they travel and get there, they finally decide to go. They find out that he's been dead 4 days. As I'm reading through that, as I'm thinking through that, it's amazing to me that Jesus said he had to wait. He didn't come right then. He didn't just get with the disciples and head. As a matter of fact, when he decides to go, the disciples, like Thomas, say, we're going to go back and we're going to get stoned. Like, they don't like us. And Thomas finally says, we're going to do this. We're going to go back and we're going to die. But as I'm thinking through some of the words of Jesus saying those things, like, he had to wait. And as a matter of fact, he says that I waited because long story short, they say he's ill, and then he finally decides, let's go. And the disciples are like, are you sure? He goes, yeah, because he's asleep. And the disciples are like, well, if he's sleeping, that's a good thing, because he's getting better. Jesus is like, Lazarus is dead. And then he says, it's a good thing that happened, because now you will see the glory. Like, how many times does something in life happen that A, we have to wait, and B, it allows us to see the glory of God working in it? Now, I'm not saying that each one of us should, every time we have to wait on something, it's like, ooh, but the fact of the matter is that sometimes God, to show glory, to show him in control, uses the idea of his time, not our time. And I find it fascinating because Like, Jesus knows his hour's coming. He even says that, my hour is coming, when I'm going to be lifted up. In chapter 12, he says that. And the people are like, well, the Messiah is not supposed to be lifted up in that way, because he's referring to his death. He knew his hour was coming, and he waited 2 days before he left to head back to Bethany, which is where Mary and Martha are from, and Lazarus. And that's all in chapter 11. Chapter 12 says that they're there at the house, and that's when Mary opens the ointment box and pours it on Jesus's feet. And then that same chapter, he then enters into Jerusalem as a triumphal entry. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, Jesus waited 2 days wherever he was before, and he doesn't say where he was, it just says in the place that they were. He waited 2 days before he went to see Lazarus. And that waiting 2 days set up everything to come, like the triumphal entry, which we'll celebrate this Sunday, Palm Sunday, and then Passion Week leading up to the Passover. Like, everything was meticulously laid out, and Jesus knew exactly what was going on. And he knows what's going on. Sometimes we don't. So as we enter into this coming week, I'd like to challenge you to read a chapter of John each day, starting Saturday with chapter 12, Sunday chapter 13, Monday chapter 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 next Friday. That's Good Friday. 19 on Saturday, and then 20 on the Easter Sunday. And I encourage you, can I challenge you to read those chapters each week, each day? So this Saturday will be chapter 12, and that will kind of help engage you into what we're going to be talking about on Sunday. I'm breaking from 1 Peter for the next couple of weeks as we celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus, and we'll return 1 Peter chapter 3 on the week after Easter. But at least as we engage our hearts and minds, I think this year we need to be thinking of his death and resurrection. More so, we've just come through a very difficult year. But so anyway, so this Saturday, read chapter 12, study chapter 12, meditate through some of the words, and then Sunday chapter 13, Monday chapter 14. And can I challenge you with that? And if it's something that you're willing to take up the challenge for, let me know. Let me know that, hey, that I'm planning on doing that. I think it'll be a benefit, a blessing to you as you prepare your heart to worship Christ and what he did. So yeah, that's what I got for you today. And I'm just, most of you weren't even looking at me. You've been looking at the scenery. So it's pretty cool. So know that my wife and I, we love you. We miss you guys. And we'll see you next time. And well, we'll be home in a day or two, maybe. It's really nice up here. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week.